It is the end of February 2020. I feel like I already made a video this month, but I thought I looked pretty cute today, so why not make another one? I figured I could talk about some of the books that I had been reading. At the beginning of January, I was in Hokkaido, and I had finished whatever books I had brought with me, and I needed to start a new book, and I didn't have my Kindle, and I didn't have any new books with me, so I started reading on the Kindle app, and I started reading Brave Story. I don't know if you can, I guess you can't see that. I just put a picture here. I started reading Brave Story on my phone, which was proving to be kind of hard, because while it's not that much smaller than a Kindle, it was like very cramped and tiny, and I can't. This is like the third or fourth time that I've read Brave Story. I don't know why I keep reading it. It's like an 800 something page book. It's really long, but there's something about the anime that called out to me as a child, and it's just full of like friendship and bravery and heart. But upon rereading it now that I'm like an adult, I'm like the adultiest adult I've ever been, I didn't love it as much as I remember loving it, which is very strange. Having to figure that out the fourth time I'm reading this. But also, maybe it was just because I don't have as much time now to like sit and kind of bulldoze through some of the slower chapters. But I think if you haven't read it, that it's a very interesting book to kind of dive into. Especially the beginning. I find the beginning very interesting now that I'm reading it as someone who lives in Japan, because it's a book set in Japan, and it's about these two elementary school kids who have terrible things happen to them, and they want to change their fate, and they go to this new magical world called Vision, where they can meet with a goddess, and she will grant them one wish if they like finish their journey there. The two main characters are pretty intriguing, and that's why I like the book. So after I finished that book, I dived right into this book, which I had been wanting to read over the summer. I originally picked it up for the cute cover, and then I read the back. Lifelong best friends and next-door neighbors Hannah and Emery had never gone a single day without talking. But now it's senior year, and they haven't spoken in 3 months. Not since the fight. The one where they each said things they couldn't take back. They're aching to break the silence, but those 36 steps between their bedroom windows feel more like 36 miles. And immediately, I read this and said, not all friendships last forever, and immediately I was like, I have to read this book because I feel like there's some kind of closure in it for me. Someone who had also lost their best friend and missed them terribly for years. It's been years, but this was such a good book, and I wasn't expecting it to be. I related to parts of it, obviously, as you do when you read fiction. Hannah, there are two main characters, Hannah and Emery, and Hannah is growing up in this like super religious environment, and I was like, oh my god, that's me. Like everything she wrote about, I was like, I can tell that the author has lived a very similar life to me, and like questioning religion and faith, and I didn't even realize that was such a big deal until I read this book. I didn't realize that like other people brought up in this system had to like question their way out of it. It just seemed like a very natural thing for me to do, to question my faith and then leave the church. But after reading this book, it's so good. So it just goes back and forth between Hannah and Emery, and kind of like the things that they're dealing with in relationships and in their life, and how they miss each other and wish that they had each other to rely on in these moments of hardship. And I adored it. I devoured this book in 2 days. I would have kept reading if I didn't have to do other things, but I was just like, I'm just gonna read 50 pages a day, and then it turned into 100 pages, and then it was like 150 pages a day. So it was good. And now we're moving on to the last book. This is called I Was Told There'd Be Cake. This is a book of essays by Sloane Crossley. I literally just started reading it. I'm on page 30 right now. I bought it again for the cover and the title. I was told there'd be cake, because it just feels like some kind of big, significant disappointment in life Someone said there would be cake, and this implies that there was no cake. I bought it at a used bookstore in Los Angeles for $1. And I bought it because one of the people in the back had said like, oh, the first sentence was so funny and it just gets funnier from there. So the first sentence of the book is, as most New Yorkers have done, I have given serious and generous thought to the state of my apartment should I get killed during the day. I'm not from New York. I've literally never visited New York. And she's like a Jewish author who lives in New York. Two things that I don't really know very much about at all. But I'm reading more books, more like fiction and nonfiction books. That's the thing. I devour fiction books like it's water. But nonfiction is... I'm building myself up slowly to it. Anyway, those are 3 books that I have read / am reading. I've also been reading more comic books because my friend gave me her old iPad, so I wanted to take advantage of the big screen and read some comics. So the comics that I've been reading lately, I got some good ones. I read The Prince and the Dressmaker. Gorgeous freaking art. The Prince and the Dressmaker had amazing art. It was so colorful and beautiful, and the story was so cute and simplistic, and I was all here for it. It was really just a solid book. Another book that I saw over the summer that I really wanted, but I had to choose my books wisely because I only had so much space. In fact, by the end of the summer, I had an extra suitcase because of all the books. I didn't have enough space. I had a whole another suitcase. And then I read Sheets, which is about a little ghost and this girl kind of becoming friends to like take down this evil dude who's trying to take over her wash laundry company, something like that. Anyways, those are the things that I have been reading lately. It's just a good time. I'm trying to read 75 books this year. Last year I had set a goal to read 20 books because I genuinely didn't think I could read 20 books in a year, and then I like surpassed that goal by a lot, and I was like, I guess I'll do 50 books. So I did hit 50 books. I think I hit 56 books or something last year. Anyways, 75 books this year. And then next year I'm hoping for 100. I feel like maybe I'm going to try and do 100 this year because I feel like next year I'm going to have either a better job or I'm going to move somewhere and I don't know where. Don't know what my life is going to be, but I'm going to try. Anyway, my camera is now madly blinking at me, so I'm just going to wrap this up and say goodbye. And thank you for watching this long video about books that I've been reading. So read your hearts out, kids, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye.